He is our California State Assembly member for this district. Thank you so much.
Thank you. For those of you who don't know what Assemblista is, or Assembly member is, I represent you in the state of California in Sacramento. If you still don't know what that is, I don't assemble parts in a factory either. But the best way I can describe it is, I make laws. There's 120 people that make laws for 38 million Californians, and you're looking at one of them. If you still don't know what that means, on Monday when I go back, I can make a law that everybody that showed up to this meeting today will get a brand new Mercedes next week. Is that something you would like me to do? Now you understand what an assembly member does. I am really proud to represent you in Sacramento. I'm glad I'm here for your budget meeting because that's something I'm working on right now. I'm trying to get a lot of money to come back to our community to help people in this community. I am the chair of public safety. And as the chair of public safety, I work real hard to ensure that they do not send more African American and Latinos to jail or to prison. We need to stop that school to prison pipeline, which is really difficult in our community. And so I stop people who want to extend the time in prison to keep people in prison, but I also work to try to get resources so that people don't go into that school to prison pipeline. So one of the things I'm working on now is I've been to more prisons than I've ever wanted to see in my entire life. I've just been to too many prisons. And when I've gone in there, all I see are people that look exactly like us in those prisons. Full of us, Black and Latinos. And so when I talk to these individuals, especially young people, I met a young man who had just gotten out of prison, 2 years in juvenile, 4 years in prison. And I asked him what happened. And he said when he was young, his father was in prison, his mother was on drugs, his sisters and brothers were either in gangs or selling drugs, and he hadn't eaten in a whole week, and he was hungry. And so when he gets to school, someone gives him $5 so he can go get something to eat. He's sitting in class, his stomach is growling. And you know how kids are, they're making fun of him. So he goes to Taco Bell and he decides he's gonna get him something to eat. As he's grabbing his burrito that he just bought, a hand reaches over and grabs him. And just like any of you, when you're hungry and somebody tries to grab your food, you fight back. Unfortunately, he hit a cop, LAPD officer, right in the face, which means they threw the book at him. Assault on an officer, assault battery, and he served like 6 years in jail. And I said, well, you experienced post-traumatic stress disorder, which is a lot of us know is for when you come out of war. And I said, since you had no parenting, you're in a bad area, you experienced post-traumatic stress disorder. I know you experienced post-traumatic stress disorder when you're in prison, and now you're out, you can't get to jail, you're experiencing it again. And he said, no, brother, I experienced post-traumatic street disorder. Because what's happening here in our neighborhood, in our street, is much worse than maybe going to Afghanistan, Iraq, or Iran. And that we need to focus in on what goes on in the streets in poor neighborhoods. And so I put out a resolution, which is just an affirmation of what's going on. And I had every doctor try to tell me I can't diagnose post-traumatic street disorder. I said, I don't have a medical degree, and I'm not a psychiatrist with a PhD, but I know what my people are going through in South LA. I know what people are going through in Central Alameda. I know what that stress is like for them. And we need to acknowledge that, and we need to give them money, funds, and resources so that we can combat that, so we can end the school to prison pipeline. So this year, it looks like we're gonna get it. I'm gonna get $100 million for post-traumatic street disorder. That's a lot of money. So that organizations that are helping young people with mental health problems or just stress in general. I mean, you have these first graders, these young kids right here. They may see a dead body. They may see somebody get jumped or beaten. They may be living in a really bad home environment. And the first thing we say is, what's 1 + 1? And they're stressed, or they're in shock. And what we do, we say a willful defiant, or we send them to the principal's office, we suspend them, when somebody just needs to just talk to them and ask them what's going on, and try to get them a psychiatrist, social worker, mental health professional in the schools to help them with that. And that's what you really, really need it right now, especially in our community. And when Obama had his sons and brothers, and I went to their national meeting, they had like 10 young men had just got out of prison. One of them got up and said, you know what, I just need somebody to listen to me. And so we all said, there's 500 of us, doctors, lawyers, we said, we'll get you housing, we'll get you money so you can get better tutors and teachers and everything. And he got up and said, I just need somebody to listen to me. And this older gentleman got up and gave him a hug. And everybody started crying. And what we realized is he just needed somebody to tell him that he was valuable. And he got on the microphone and said he had never had another African-American male tell him he was smart. He never had another male tell him he was good, he was worthy, and that he could make it in society, and that he was worth something. He had never had that. And I realized that this is just as important as all the physical stuff. And so we're going to try to get money so that in areas where there may not be a father in the home, or the street conditions aren't really good, how to give them some mental toughness so they can make it through, so they can learn addition, subtraction, so that they all can get STEM degrees. We'd love for every kid in my district to get STEM degrees. You know why? Especially the mothers, especially the kids. I can guarantee every kid in this room and all the ones that are playing basketball, if they learn science, technology, engineering, and math, I can guarantee them a $100,000 a year job for the rest of their life. There are 2 million STEM jobs that will happen in the next 10 years. We don't have enough college seats to fill all those positions. And so we can get those kids to make over $100,000 for the rest of your life, and all of you mothers and fathers in here, you can retire. Wouldn't you like that? That's the most important thing that we need to do right now. And so I'm working real hard to make sure we get the best education for our kids, but most important, to make sure our kids are mentally able to get through all of that. And hopefully grants are out there in the community so that we can bring those social workers and other people back into schools so they can help us. And then finally, because I know you're here for budget, if you have any ideas on things we can do to help communities across the state, because when I ask for a budget request, it has to be statewide. But every once in a while, I can ask for something that maybe in our area would be really, really helpful. I can ask for that. And so if you have ideas, I'm going to introduce you to Esmeralda, who's taking pictures of me. Esmeralda's from my office. She's our field rep. The gentleman he mentioned, Derek Mims, who used to be in my office, has moved up to Congress, works for Congressman Lowenthal. And so it's a big loss to us, but Esmeralda's here, and also we have Daisha Austin, who's my new district director, would love to continue to work with you to make sure that we give you the kind of support that you need. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here in person, to let you know that I really do care about the people in my community. But most important, I want you to know that I'm not just here by sending representatives, I'm not by sending you paper or sending you mailers. I'm here in, not only in spirit, but in body. I'm here with you to make things better. And so the last thing I will leave you with is I'm doing a lot of public safety laws to help the immigrant population. I have a bill that hopefully the governor will sign pretty soon, that if you see a crime or a crime is committed against you, you can report it to the police, and the police will not report you to ICE, immigration individuals. We're making that illegal for them to do that. Because especially in our community, where there may be more crime than anywhere else, we need to sometimes police ourselves, and sometimes we need the police to come in and help us with that. The last thing I want to happen is for you to have your car stolen or something stolen out of your home, and then to have immigration steal you from your family. I think that would be the ultimate crime. And so hopefully the governor signs it soon, so everyone in this room will have protection, and that you can go and actually report a crime, or if something happens to you, you can go in there and report a crime without fear that the immigration officers will come and get you. And so those are the kind of legislation that I'm working on, and in addition to SB 54, which makes sure that we don't cooperate with immigration authorities. And so I will continue to do that. I will continue to make sure that we do things in this community. And again, I remember when we used to have money for the neighborhood councils. You have really great leadership. You have a good turnout on a Saturday. Get involved, stay involved. This is really important. The monies that the city gives you, use it wisely, and make sure you can take it to the next level. But most important, you need to know that the assembly member of the 59th Assembly District, I have a real long name. Some people think I'm Latino. It's Reginald Byron Jones-Sawyer Sr. And so he's called me Reggie. So with that, I want to thank you, and thank you for showing up today. Thank you. He was saying that we need to get more jobs out there. So what I will tell you, we need people to apply. A closed mouth won't get fed. That's an old African American term. Closed mouth don't get fed. I get complaints about there not enough people working over at the Coliseum or Exposition Park. And when I asked who applied and didn't get a job, I found out nobody applied. But if you don't apply, you can't get the job. So if you know of anybody who needs a job over in Expedition or anywhere in the district, you got to apply. And if they give you a hard time, if you give me a stack of applications that nobody filled out, I can go over there and cause some havoc and make people understand it needs to be done. And this is the last thing I'll leave you with, and this is the last thing that you never give a politician a mic. So I love this thing about teaching. Hopefully one day you talk about Pio Pico. The first black governor of California was Pio Pico. He's one of the richest men in California. Pico Boulevard is named after him, and he's Afro-Latino. And he's darker than me. He built the first hotel in California. It's still on Alvera Street. It says Pio Pico House. So look him up. I have a pillow with his picture up there. He was one of the most influential men in California. But it also shows how African American Latinos are closer together than you think. All right? Thank you.
Just to add a little bit, that there's his house in Pico Rivera, right? That's 605 River.
Yeah, there is.
All right.